Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of the Georgian Surrogacy Podcast. My name is Liz Tripodi, and I'm really happy to be back with Season 2. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to be having quite a different number of guest speakers on this season, including embryologists, doctors, past parents that have done successful journeys, and a lot more, because since the last season, a lot has changed with surrogacy in Georgia. It's still going, it's better than ever, and I'm really excited to welcome my first guest today, and it's Gvantsa, who is one of the international coordinators from Chachava Clinic in Tbilisi, Georgia. Welcome, Gvantsa.
Thank you, Liz.
Now, I hope that everyone can hear us okay, because obviously I'm recording from Australia and Gvantsa is currently in Tbilisi, and we have a time difference of about 7 hours at the moment. So I'm really excited as well, because I have just been appointed Chachava's first international coordinator that actually lives outside of Georgia. So this is really exciting for Gvantsa and I to both talk as colleagues today. But also, Gvantsa has been with Chachava as the international coordinator for the past 3 years. And I'm really excited for everyone to get to know more about what the role is of an international coordinator and what's going on in Tbilisi at the moment. So, Gvantsa, tell me, how did you become a coordinator at Chachava?
Okay, so we need to take a step back. It was I'm going to share like some of the personal things about me about this job.
Fantastic.
First, I had this interview with Dr. Katy, and to be honest, I didn't know anything about surrogacy. I didn't know. Well, of course, like everyone knows Chachava Clinic in Georgia. It's very famous. It's huge. It's the oldest maternity house in the clinic in the country. And then this like one day, I am sitting with Dr. Katy at the interview and interviewing for this position that I knew very little about. But the atmosphere, the aura, it got into me, and I have been here for the last 3 years. It's been an amazing journey. It's very different from all the other positions that I've been holding previously, and I am enjoying it. There are times, there are very stressful times. There are lots of disappointments. Uh, Lots of ups and downs, but at the end of the day, this is amazing job. I would say like the most amazing I've ever had. So I am very grateful that I am part of something much bigger.
Absolutely. And it is, you are right when you say about the aura when you step inside Chachava. Now, our paths didn't cross during my surrogacy journey, because you started, I think, just after COVID, from memory,
Yes.
and I was already
Yes.
back in Australia by then. But I've heard so many good things about you, and I know you've had so many successful journeys with couples right around the world, which is fantastic. So tell me a little bit about the role of the international coordinator.
Okay, so we start with the patients and with the inquiries of the patients from the very beginning. We are the first ones who are seeing your email, like the patient's emails, or the first WhatsApp message. And the first thing we do is that we want to set up the call right away. So we get this connection, because we absolutely understand. It's, I know, like someone sitting in Australia. I have heard nothing about Georgia, and they are starting this like life-changing journey. So we understand the details, and the first thing we are trying is to have this personal connection. So the good way to start is to set up the call, to see each other's face, to hear each other's voice, and start relationship that will last for more than a year, and sometimes for a lifetime, I would say.
Absolutely.
We
It's when you have uh, there's so many, there is a lot of choice out there now. Different clinics has popped up. It's different since the last 5 years. But the one thing about Chachava is that um, everyone cares. Everyone from the first email to the doctors, to Dr. Keddy, to Dr. Tata, the pediatricians, the people that take the ultrasound, everybody there treats you with so much kindness and so much caring. And it's very unusual to find that in the world these days. But for Georgian people, it's natural. That is the type of
Yeah.
people that Georgian people
Yeah.
are. Very warm. It's about family, and you are not treated like other countries where you are like a number. In Georgia, you are treated like, we want to do this for you because we believe in creating families, and everything that we were told, we received. And for
Yeah.
that, I will always be thankful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
So we continue. I want to go into more details if you don't mind,
absolutely.
if you'll allow me. So we start the first call or the first video call with the patients, with the incoming inquiries. We send out the details. We try to give the patients, the potential patients, as much information as possible, and we kind of like bombard them with the information. We have the packages, we have the we share the contract drafts with the clinic, with the surrogate. Right now we have worked, we have created this very beautiful document that I'm very proud of, and it describes the whole process, starting to from the very beginning till the very end. So
It looks wonderful, and I wish that we had something like that when we started, but we have it now, and
thank
that's the most
you.
important thing.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, we send out all this information, and there are some more details when, for example, patients already have the embryos created in their home country and they are trying to ship them to Georgia. There is like more paperwork, so we are going to send out all of this, and maybe even like scare the patients, but it's important to have all the information. This is like number one. Then, of course, like we are with our patients along the way, we answer the questions, we answer the inquiries, because no matter how much information we send out, there's still some details that we did not cover, that we did not anticipate. And every case is very individual. Every patient has their story, and they want to understand the details and the answers to their stories and to their questions.
And I think one of the
And of
most
course,
important things, and what you've just touched on, is I always tell everybody that want to embark on this journey, there is never the wrong question, and there is never too many questions. That is what
absolutely.
that is what you need to hear now from someone like me who has gone through the process, and now is working in this role. I will always tell everybody, ask as many questions. That is what we are here for. We want to make this easy for you. It's not easy, but we want to make it as easy as possible.
Exactly, exactly. And that's why we offer like whatever emails or WhatsApp or whatever is more convenient for our patients, and whatever is easier in terms of communication. And then, of course, as an international patient coordinator, we set up, if the patients decide to travel to Georgia, we set up we arrange some of the details like the airport pickup, the bookings, and these like little details. And of course, like welcome the patients to the clinic when they first arrive, arrange the doctor's appointments and arrange the test results. And of course, like for all the patients, this is very different. This looks very different. For some, it's like 2 or 3 week stay. For some, it's only several days. For some, they don't even travel, and they are here. They are sending the biological material. So along the way we are, like, guiding through our patients. And then, of course, when the magic happens, and when we find the surrogate, when the surrogate is already pregnant, we still stay as the primary contact person for our patients. And of course, they hear all the news, they hear all the updates from the doctors herself. But we are here as their support, as in case they have any questions. And then we finish the process when the babies are born, when we have to go through the process again of patients coming, arriving to Georgia. And yeah, it's all these like beautiful moments that make this job so
It
so
is.
perfect.
Absolutely. So let's just touch on, you have touched on some already, but let's touch very briefly on the services that are offered. So obviously, Chachava is the oldest maternity hospital in Georgia. It's been 150 years. Everybody in Georgia knows Chachava. So the services that Chachava offer, which is very different from a lot of other places in Georgia, is the fact that the surrogacy unit is within Chachava. There is no additional agency or services. It's all within the one house. And I say house because it's a beautiful, beautiful building. But also in the building, they have cosmetic treatments, they have dentists, they have other types of doctors for medical treatments. So and they have the maternity unit. So they really offer everything there all in one. And so with the
Yes.
services, with the surrogacy, there's obviously the option of donor eggs, donor sperm. You can go to Georgia and create your own embryos, as you just mentioned before, but you can also ship them. And there are companies right around the world that work very closely with Chachava, and have been for a very long time, to safely ship those precious embryos, whether it's 1 or 5 or 8, and they get to the clinic safely, and then hopefully the magic can start.
Yes. Yeah, so exactly. It's a multi-profile women's hospital, and reproductive health center is only one department of Chachava Clinic, where we offer services like IVF, egg donation, sperm donation, and the whole process, starting from the very beginning, like creating the embryos, till the very end, like the pediatrician's checkup. Everything is happening under one roof in Chachava Clinic. And one of the most important things is that we also take care of the documentation, which is very important to get the birth certificate on time and to start the exit process. We call this an
Yes.
exit process, when the patients apply for their home country citizenship or the passport or the travel document. So the patients would find all the services, medical, organizational, and legal, here in Chachava with us.
And as your role and my role as international patient coordinators, I tell you, our coordinator, which was the lovely Tatiana, from start to finish, she was there with us through every bit, right up until we got to the airport to go home. Even now, we still speak. And the legal team to handle all the documentation, they were so quick. Everything was correct. Everything was lodged the way it needed to be. And, a big kudos to the legal team in Chachava, because they don't get enough credit for how hard they work and for what a wonderful job they do, because it is not easy having a baby in a foreign country
I
and,
know.
and having to wait for paperwork so that you can bring your baby home. And, they're just a wonderful team there. And, very, very lucky that, you get to work with these type of people. And again, they care. No question is off limits. And every country has different requirements. And all the coordinators and all the legal team they are right on the ball with all the changes that happen, because every country, they can change their processes, tomorrow if they wanted to. And it's great that the legal team is always on top of this. They know what they have to lodge. They know if the forms have to change. And that's a really great service. That Chachava is very different from some of the others, because they pride themselves in their work, which is so important. So I wanted to ask you, how are things in Tbilisi at the moment? I know over the last 18 months, it was a little bit difficult, and we still do get questions now if, are things okay in Georgia? Is it okay to do surrogacy in Georgia? And, we all have heard the news about a year ago, 18 months ago, that the parliament were looking into different laws and changing the way that surrogacy was done in Georgia. Just let us know where we're at the moment.
Okay, so yeah, this is a very important question. This is a very important topic that we are getting a lot of questions about. And so the timeline was like last summer, the Prime Minister of Georgia has announced the ban on international surrogacy that would take place on the 1st of January. So what we did was that we stopped admitting new patients, and we concentrated more on bringing surrogates. So we had pregnancies with all our patients. This was very important to us. So this was the decision that was made in like several hours after the announcement, and we posted it on our Facebook group. Later on, like several months, so then the discussion started in the parliament. There are some procedures, and the procedures took place, and they started the discussions. And what happened was that then the discussions were delayed, were postponed, and at the end of the process, it never happened. It never went, it never became a law. And although the government didn't give us an official announcement as to what they were going to do with this bill, it just faded away. And we've received the information from the officials that they were not considering to go back to this bill. So then we again announced that we would start admitting new patients. I believe this was in January. Right now, all the clinics, all the agencies in Georgia, they are continuing with the new patients, with the process. We are admitting new patients. The birth certificates are being issued according to the Georgian legislation, so there is no delay with the process, and we believe that it's not going to happen anytime soon. Of course, it's in this part of the world, things happen very quickly, things change very quickly. So my advice to the patients who are thinking to start the journey would be to start the journey as soon as possible. But again, like, we are not expecting any new changes, any new announcements anytime soon.
And I think it's important. It's important to note that the government did say, when they were looking at this, that if you had already signed a contract, that your contract would continue. They weren't going to, or if you were pregnant, they were going to, honor that contract. At the time.
Yes, actually, that was the question we were receiving a lot. And the thing is that it was if the surrogate was already pregnant. That's the whole thing. They did not mean the clinic agreement if the patients already had the clinic agreement, but they did not have a surrogate agreement. They did not have surrogate yet. They did not have a transfer yet. The only thing that would mean that would count would be if the surrogate was already pregnant. The government, like, let's say, did not care about any agreements between like two private individuals. They would only take into consideration if the surrogate was already pregnant.
Well, thankfully, we don't have to worry about that in the immediate future. Everything is looking good, and I must say as well, the wait times now for surrogates is a lot quicker than what it was a year ago. So
Yes, definitely.
talk to me a little bit about the wait times and where the surrogates come from at the moment.
Okay, so the thing is that we've had yes, right. The waiting time for now is approximately 1 or 2 months, and but before, you are right, it was up to even like 6 months, even longer than 6 months. But what happened was that after the war in Ukraine, there were many patients who started coming to Georgia, and we've had like so many patients, not only Chachava, but I guess like all the other clinics, and then there were not that many surrogates. But what we did is that we tried to find a solution. We tried to bring more surrogates from abroad, and now we have surrogates, and we have like hired the staff, and found some agencies, and brought more surrogates from abroad. So now there is a better system for bringing more surrogates, and some of them are from Georgia, some of them are not from Georgia, and they are from the countries that don't need a visa to enter and stay in Georgia for up to 1 year. And for some countries like Australia, like US, like China, India, they don't need a surrogate signature after the baby is
Yes,
born. Well, the Australia needs one, but it happens like right after the birth.
correct.
It's not like UK, it's not like Germany when they need like surrogate signatures like after several weeks of
Yeah,
when the baby is born. So yeah, now the waiting time is much shorter, and of course, like the scrutinized checkup that the surrogates go through before the embryo transfer gives us like much higher success rates.
that's fantastic. And I know that you have mentioned to me that and as it has always been in Georgia, unlike other countries around the world, the surrogates are taken such great care of by the team and by the doctors, and they're always checked on how they are, and how they're feeling, and ensuring that they can get to their appointments. And it's a really it is the most important part of the journey, because looking after the surrogate, making sure that she is okay, making sure she is supported. And Chachava do a wonderful job of, I remember our
Yeah,
one,
this is very important. Yeah.
it's it is the I think the most important thing. So I want to just touch very briefly on what happens when things go wrong, because it is something that people do ask. And I always say to everybody, look, every journey is different, every situation is different. So what are some of the common things that can go wrong from start to finish? It can be things like one of the most important things, of course, about doing surrogacy in Georgia is eligibility.
Mm-hmm.
There are there are some countries don't allow citizenship for surrogates, for babies born via surrogacy. The couples have to be married or in a de facto relationship. They must be heterosexual. What are some of the other things that you have, experienced, things that
Mm-hmm.
can go wrong?
Okay, so uh, surrogacy is legal in Georgia, but the law has the requirement as to who can go through surrogacy. first, it's the heterosexual couple who should be in either married, or they can prove somehow that they have lived together, and
Yep.
there is a list of documents they can provide for this. And another thing is that they should have a medical need to go through surrogacy.
Yes.
This is very important. This is what we pay attention to very much. And as to what can go wrong, like, do you
Okay,
mean
so
for the
what
like
about if,
surrogate or?
well, I don't know. What about if people, let's say they ship across two embryos and both embryos don't work, then what can they do then?
So in this case, we advise that either they come here and start the IVF process again, or they, if they have more embryos, to ship them more embryos, or start the donation process. Um,
It's all different. Every yeah, every situation is different. Now, what about and this happened to us twice with our surrogate. She was hospitalized twice, very common with
mhm.
twins, of course. Um, and we were extremely, I mean, again, extremely thankful. Our coordinator kept us, straight away told us what was happening. We were getting the doctor's reports, and but she was in hospital one time, I think, was for 4 or 5 days. The other time was, I think, for 10 days.
Right. Right. So this is a very good and interesting thing to explain. Is that the whole process, the whole surrogacy process, is like artificial pregnancy. So if there is like a little bit something is wrong, then the doctors prefer that the surrogate stays in hospital under very close monitoring.
Yep.
And these little things can be, I don't know, like food poisoning, flu, or more serious, like the bloody discharge, or the shortening of cervix. These are common things that may happen to every pregnancy, not like just surrogacy. But because this is surrogacy, we are trying to be extra cautious and have the surrogate stay in the hospital. What happens in this case is that we try to notify the parents as soon as possible, and then, of course, the doctor's report comes along with more details and with more explanation, like the medical explanation as to what happened, why it happened, what are the projections, and so on. But one thing I want to clarify is that it's like Chachava Clinic, which is like, again, like a multi-profile women's hospital that covers, like lot of fields. But also we have a partnering clinic, which is a huge clinic, like much bigger clinic. And if in case there is anything wrong, the surrogates can stay in that hospital as well. And the doctor, the treating doctor, will make a decision which hospital she needs to go to. And medically speaking, there is all the medical infrastructure that is needed to take care of the surrogates, to take care of the fetus, to take care of the premature, if
Yeah.
this happens. So medically speaking, we are 100% covered. There is all the medical infrastructure that could be available in Australia, in the United States. Like, the surrogates are getting the best treatment.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because on the third time that our surrogate ended up in hospital was when she went into labor, and the doctor made the decision to keep her. It was 34 weeks, and
Mhm.
if the babies had have held on another 2 weeks, they would have been born in Chachava, but they were born at Gudashori, which the NICU unit there is the state-of-the-art best NICU unit in Eastern Europe, and amazing facility, the best care. So they kept her there, and she gave birth there, and then the twins went straight into NICU. And you are right. There is I would go as far as saying, and this is a big call, but the facilities from my point of view, were better than what we have here in Australia. And we have a fantastic medical system here in Australia, and we just couldn't have been happier with the care that we were given and the expertise, and they just knew exactly what to do. So our surrogate was in labour for 2 days, but not really 2 days. She went in and the mucus plug broke, and then she was just lying around. And then it was, she went in on a Sunday, and it was Tuesday about lunchtime she went into labour, and the twins were born at 4:30 in the afternoon. And it was, and she gave birth naturally. That's what I couldn't.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. She was an absolute champion. She did everything right. She was just, so it was a very, very special time for us. And I agree with you that, everything that is offered, and the care by everybody there is just outstanding. So any other things that you can think of? What about with the exit? Is there anything? I think from my experience and from all the people that I have spoken to over the years, I think everyone just needs to make sure that they also know their own country's exit requirements, and they can contact their embassy or their consulate. And I'd always advise doing that when they start the surrogacy journey or when they become pregnant, to let the embassy or the consulate know that there's going to be a baby or babies expecting. Because if you've got the support, and you'll need them, of the embassy or the consulate, they will really make sure that you can get your passport and you can get home as quickly as possible.
Yeah, each embassy, each consulate, they have their own requirements, and our legal team, they are very familiar with, for example, Australian, for example, US, Chinese, Indian, UK, Germany. These are the countries that most of our patients
Yeah.
are from, so they are very familiar. But I want to emphasize that we are responsible, and all of the packages covered, that we apply for the birth certificate, and then the documents that are needed for the application, that are being prepared throughout the process. So all of this we will prepare. But with the exit process, it's the patients who are applying. But again, we prepare and we provide all the documents,
Yes.
all the additional documents that may be required.
Correct. And we can also advise as well, because I know Australia just changed some of their processes about
exactly.
6 months ago. So we can always advise, and it's very good now as well compared to when I did it. There's actually some documents online by a lot of the embassies or the consulates that actually say what documents that you need.
Right. Yeah, because the embassies may change their requirements like a very last minute without even notifying. They just like put out the statement on their website somewhere. And I know that the Australian exit process, they just changed something. So now the patients have to go to the embassy, which unfortunately we don't have the Australian embassy here in Tbilisi. The closest one is in Ankara in Turkey. So usually it's the fathers who go there, get the passport, and get back the same day.
But I have to say the staff at Ankara are brilliant. And I also had dealings with the British Embassy in Tbilisi as well, and they were wonderful as well. Because I don't know, you probably wouldn't know, but we ended up with emergency passports from the British Embassy for the twins.
Really? Really? Oh, wow.
Because Ankara said it was going to take us too long and they wanted to get us out of the country. So the twins have a very nice memento from the British Embassy in Georgia, which is I mean, it only lasted 2 weeks. It was an emergency passport. So, but it was the staff there were wonderful.
Perfect.
So I've dealt with a few of the different embassies, some of the countries, and they've all been lovely and they've all been very, very helpful. Tell me, what do you love about Georgia?
Oh, that's a difficult question. Um, so Georgia is my home, and I was born here, I was raised here, and the only time I was not living in Georgia was when I was studying abroad. And but otherwise, it's a beautiful place, and we have this saying that Georgia has everything, like beautiful mountains, the beaches, the desert. I don't know if
Is
I'm
it?
pronouncing this correctly, but we have great desserts as well. And of course, amazing food. Uh, the dances, the Georgian music, it's amazing. But
You
as
forgot
you
the
mentioned,
you forgot the
yeah.
wine
Oh yeah, oh my God. Of course. I mean, that's like number one.
and the cha-cha.
We have been making wine for like 8,000 years, and we are like the
Yeah,
proud, yeah, wine making country. But as you said, it's the people.
yeah,
And this is what I appreciate, like with my family, with my friends, with my other family, which is my work.
yeah.
It's the people who care about you. It's like no matter where you come from, whether you are from here, whether you are from another place, or if you are, like related or not. It's the care that we show, and our ability to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. And Georgia has been through some, like, lots of hardships. I have we've had war in 2008. We've had like in early 90s, Georgia was in a very dark place, and we have been through a very like through hardship. So we do understand when people are in need of help. So that's what we are doing here. We are helping people who are in need of help.
I think that's yeah, I think that's beautiful. I always tell people when they ask what is Georgia like, I always say to them, if they, obviously, because a lot of people have no idea what Tbilisi and what Georgia's like, and Batumi and all these places, but I always say it's like Athens, but it's cleaner.
I like that.
Yeah, because I've
I
been to
like
I've
that.
been to Greece many, many, many times, and my husband is from Greek background, and we love Greece. We go all the time, and yeah, that's how I explain it to people that have never been to Georgia, because it's a bit like Athens. It has the beach, it has the mountains, it has historical, it has culture, it has art, it has great food, and again,
Yeah, but I would say like better food. Like I have to say.
I think it depends on which part of Greece you go to.
uh, sure.
Yeah. So let's
Sure.
just touch very quickly, because we don't want to talk about everything today, but we've got in the new brochure that we have, we go into detail about the packages. And one of the most, I want to just get you to explain to me about the most important package, which is called the guarantee package.
Right. Yeah, so what the guaranteed package means is that, well, first, it involves the egg donation, I must say. And the patients have the alternative to start with their own eggs, and if not successful, then switching to egg donation. And of course, we need to have we need to check the sperm result, and it's better. And then we always do check the sperm here in Chachava, whether the patient travels here or when they send their biological material. We need to make sure that it's up to the standard. And what the guaranteed means is that we have the IVF cycle of the egg donor as many times as needed for and embryo transfers as many times as it's needed to have the live birth. And this is very important.
And that, yeah.
So if, for example, we don't have the embryos anymore, then we start the egg donor, the same donor or another donor IVF cycle. and we perform the embryo transfer as many times as it's needed.
Fantastic. And I think that's a really good thing to have. And that's something I'll go into more depth with when hopefully I'll be able to get Dr. Ketty onto our podcast episode for this season.
Sure.
And we'll talk about all that. But we're going to wrap it up. Is there anything else that you wanted to add? Anything that you wanted to say?
So just one thing is that first, I want to say that I want to recommend to people that I know this is very difficult. Like it's
It is the
you
hardest
can't
thing.
even wrap your head
Yeah.
around all of this. This is magic. This is luck. This is bravery. This is many things. But I want to recommend to have trust in us and in the professionals that you choose, whether you choose Chachava or not, and to take it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because bad things happen if you think about the bad things, and like if your mind is somehow like concentrated on that, like something is going to happen, then yes, it's going to happen. But yeah, the attitude and the energy you put out is very important.
I always say to everybody, I agree with you. It's about luck. A lot of it is about luck. So I think if you're going into this, I would highly recommend the guarantee package, because I think it's the best program that will get you the result that you want, which at the end of the day is to have your own family. And I do very much agree about trying to find ways to calm yourself and let the process run.
This is very important.
Yeah, because everybody that you deal with on this journey we are all professionals. There are many people who work at Chachava that have been through this process, including myself. And we just want to make this a happy journey for you. And, and no question is silly. But I always recommend as well, get some support around you. Go and see a counselor or a psychologist if you need to. Go and do some acupuncture. Listen to some music. Do things that make you happy, because otherwise this journey will consume your mind.
Yes, and I want to go back to your very first question, and about this job is that I always remember the very first call I have with patients, and then seeing them traveling to Georgia to pick up their baby or to attend the birth. This is like so rewarding. This is just amazing. This is when I feel that
it's all worth it.
We're doing some magic here.
So yeah, obviously, if anyone has any questions, you can get in touch with Gvantsa or myself via the podcast, via our social media, via the website, which is chachava.ge. And we would love to hear from you. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. It doesn't matter if you're just starting and you just got questions that you want to ask. We're here to help you. And baby dust to everybody, because that's the goal. So Gvantsa, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
And have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are listening around the world. Thanks, everybody.